And they have had some success already with the Club World Cup, which fans, myself included, thoroughly enjoyed, and I will enjoy branding that World Champions badge across any shirt that I buy from the Megastore. But a big conversation after the Brighton game, obviously the mood was very low inside Stamford Bridge. I was, like I said, sat in the press box, and after the second Danny Welbeck goal, but Brighton's third goal went in, a lot of people, obviously it was very late in the game, starting to leave. One guy in particular to my right was kind of streaming out of Stamford Bridge, absolutely furious at what he'd seen, and he turned round and he just shouted, basically, Maresca, we want you gone. He obviously has very clear feelings on Enzo Maresca. My opinion is that Enzo Maresca should be trusted and be given a chance, because Chelsea have got rid of so many managers in the past. And whilst it worked under Abramovich, I don't think that's the way modern football works. And you won't get instant success by suddenly changing the managers with the plan that the owners have got in terms of buying these young players and planning for the future.
It's not like Chelsea fans to be fickle, is it, like that?
No, of course. We
really
don't change our opinions.
At all. It is a difficult one, because you know the deal when you join Chelsea. Historically, the talk when the American owners came in, after they dispensed with Tuchel, the pitch to Graham Potter was, you are going to get time, a long time, to work through this project. It's a long-term thing. You will be given the chance. We're not like the old regime. And obviously they've fired 3 managers to the point where Enzo Maresca, a few games in, is already the longest serving. Yeah. A few games into this second season is already the longest serving manager under this regime. But it goes back to what I was just saying in terms of the inexperience on the pitch. They've elected to go with a manager who had 1 year's experience as a manager in the Championship when they appointed him, which, he's someone that was highly touted and with a lot of potential and has delivered. Yeah, if you listen to Enzo Maresca all the way through last season, the target wasn't Champions League football. That was supposedly the target for the end of this season, and he's delivered that. He's won them a trophy. He's won them 2 trophies. He's put up with the quite serious demands of not being the man that picks the signings, not being the man that decides how long the contracts get. Yeah. He is given a squad. That is his role. This is how Chelsea are doing it. They have a lot of people that look into the signings, discover players, get those deals over the line, and Maresca's job is to deal with that. That's where that friction came. Yeah, that's where that friction came with whether they signed a defender or not. He made it quite clear what he needed, and they said, sorry mate, not up to you really. You've got to work with this. And there were a number of defenders there to deal with. They've been slightly unfortunate in the way that they've either got injured or suspended. To go from that, they now have to decide whether they can stomach this or not. I don't think he's really under pressure yet. Yeah. He won't be under pressure yet, but it is Chelsea. They're a big club. There's a lot of expectation, not only from above because of the money that's gone into it and the ambition they rightly have off the back of that, but this is a fan base that expects a lot, are told they need to be competing for the biggest trophies. And if it looks like they're a hell of a long way from that, then there will be cause to change. And that's a big test for a manager that he had wobbly times at Leicester, but he had success there. He wasn't overly popular as a Leicester manager. None of the managers really have been that popular that this regime have appointed. Tuchel was obviously a hangover from Abramovich and was popular after winning the Champions League. None of these managers have really won the fan base over yet. That is the big task. And there's only one way to do that, and it's delivering silverware. So that's his big challenge. Yeah. He said himself, last season at times, the Chelsea fans were singing, "We've got our Chelsea back." And the chant before that was, "We want our Chelsea back." So the Chelsea that fans so clearly identify with is one that is winning trophies and consistently competing at the top level. And I think Enzo Maresca has helped the club get back to that stage. Like, genuinely at the start of the season, whether they were naive or not, fans were genuinely expecting to be in and around the top teams in the Premier League, and will still be, despite the loss to Bayern Munich, will still be expecting a run fairly deep in the Champions League. Well, it's so easy to do that in the Champions League now with this new format anyway. They could lose the first 4 games and still comfortably qualify and get through. You look at PSG last year, and I think beating teams like PSG in the summer, whether they were at full tilt or not, raises that expectation. Obviously, the way they started last season, being in and around the top 2 or 3 at Christmas, even though Maresca was saying, we can't do this, we can't sustain this. You almost need a reverse now, where he said last season, after a flying start, a fantastic start, that we cannot keep this up. Which he was right, but sounds weird from a manager of a huge club like that, that you sort of go, we're not doing this, boys, because you can't give players these excuses. The benefit of giving players those excuses is that he said it and he was right.
Yeah.
If he now says, we are good enough to compete, you need to sort this out, put your foot down, they will take that with a bit more heft. So this is where he now really, especially if it keeps not quite going right, they've had difficult games. He says they're going to learn from them.
As a fan, you want to see the manager kind of come out and prove that he's here to fight and he's here to win for the team. And I remember a bit of a strange instance under Graham Potter, because he was quite subdued a lot of the time, especially because things weren't great, obviously, for him when he was at Chelsea. And there was that one press conference where he came out and he just said, like, we're gonna go for the Champions League, like, we're gonna try and win it. And that, even though it was like such a small moment, it really got the fans up and behind Potter and got them going.
It does. You just also need to do it authentically. That's the problem. You need someone's come in, but you had with Potter doing the whole, of course I get angry. And he's such an intelligent and thoughtful person that doesn't sound right or ring true. So as long as Maresca doesn't look odd when he's coming out and saying these things, which I don't think he will, because he's quite sparing of his big hard hitting points. But you do need to hear a bit of that for it to start picking up.